All right, today we're tackling a massive question, one that keeps world leaders up at night. When is it okay? When is it legal to strike first? We're going to walk that tightrope, right where international law and modern warfare collide.
And yeah, it's a question with absolutely enormous consequences. I mean, it forces us to get right into that tricky, delicate balance between defending yourself and, well, being the aggressor.
So, to really dig into this, we're going to look at a hypothetical case file. Let's call it Operation Epic Fury. It's a scenario that's basically designed to push all the buttons on this supercritical, highly debated question. Okay, so that brings us right into our first section, a dangerous question. And it's called that for a reason. See, this isn't just about military strategy, it's a legal and ethical crossroads. The decision to act or to wait could literally change the course of history.
And this is really the heart of it all. Can you actually justify a preemptive strike, something like Epic Fury, as an act of self-defense? I mean, think about it. You're acting against a threat that hasn't even happened yet, but all your intelligence is screaming that it's right around the corner.
To even begin to answer that, we have to look at the rule book, the existing legal framework. And that brings us to the international law of self-defense. And it all boils down to one critical idea: the principle of an imminent attack.
The foundation for all of this? It's Article 51 of the UN Charter. It lays out this inherent right to self-defense if an armed attack occurs. Now that word, occurs, that's the key word, right? So what happens when you're almost certain an attack is coming, but it hasn't happened yet?
Well, that question leads us to this really fascinating legal concept called anticipatory self-defense. You can think of it as a very carefully carved out exception. It's the right to act before the first punch is thrown. But, and this is a huge but, only when you know that punch is absolutely unavoidable and it's just about to land.
And that right there, that's the crux of the entire legal argument. Everything, and I mean everything, hinges on that single phrase, imminent attack. The legitimacy of any preemptive strike pretty much lives or dies on whether you can prove that threat is truly, without a doubt, imminent.
All right, so with that legal background in mind, let's dive into the case for action in our scenario. What was the actual justification for Operation Epic Fury? And more importantly, why were the stakes so incredibly high for the entire world?
Okay, so the official justification? It was pretty straightforward. The intelligence reports pointed to what they called a clear and present danger. An attack was being actively planned against U.S. forces and their allies in the region. So the whole argument was, look, this isn't aggression, this is prevention. We're just trying to neutralize the threat before it can even get off the ground.
But this wasn't just some localized threat. No way. The global stakes here were absolutely astronomical. And it all kind of boils down to one single number: 20%.
So what's that 20%? That's the percentage of the entire world's oil supply that has to pass through one single narrow choke point in that region, the Strait of Hormuz. You can basically think of it as a global economic bottleneck.
And what that means is that any military conflict there, any little escalation, isn't just a local problem. Oh no. It has the potential to send a massive shockwave through the entire global economy. We're talking disrupted energy supplies, chaotic markets, all within a matter of days. The stakes just could not be higher.
And, of course, those incredibly high stakes are what fuel our final section here, the defining debate. We're going to lay out the justification for an operation like Epic Fury right next to the intense criticism it would inevitably cause.
So on one side, you have the supporters. And their argument is pretty clear. In an age of hypersonic missiles and rapid warfare, if you wait for an attack to actually happen, you've already lost. Proactive defense, they say, is the only way to protect your people and your assets. But then you have the critics, and they raise a really powerful objection. They question the intelligence itself. Was that threat truly imminent, or was this a massive overreaction? They're worried that acting first sets a really dangerous precedent, one that could let any country strike another based on intelligence that nobody can independently verify.
And that brings us right back to where we started. We're left with the one question that really defines the rules of modern conflict. With today's technology, with cyber attacks and lightning-fast threats, what does imminent even mean anymore? And maybe the more important question is, who gets to decide?